My name is Judge John Simcoe. I am a district judge here in Hardin County. I graduated from Linvale Elementary School, went there from grades 1 to 8, then graduated from West Hardin High School in 1983. I went on to Center College in Danville, graduated there in 1987, and then went to UK Law School and graduated in 1991 from UK. I've been a district judge since the year 2000, where I was appointed by Governor Patton and then had to run for election every 4 years. And we handle about 10,000 cases per year per judge here in Hardin County and district court, so we stay very busy. We hold court every day, 5 days a week. We handle criminal cases. I'll get to work at 8:30 in the morning, or get into court at 8:30 in the morning, where I have criminal arraignments. We do a video arraignment from folks who were arrested the night before at the detention center. I'll be on here in the courtroom, and then the defendants will be down at the detention center, and I'll inform them of what their charges are, what the possible penalties are, and whether they are going to be released, and discuss whether they're going to be released or not. That is probably 70% of the job, the criminal courts, but we also, district court is a court of special jurisdiction, so that means the legislature has to give us permission to hear certain types of cases. We handle probate matters, so if you have a family member who passes away and their estate needs to be probated, we do those cases. We do small claims cases like Judge Judy or the People's Court. We do evictions. We handle juvenile cases, so when minors are charged with a crime, they appear in district court for their criminal charges. If they don't do what they are supposed to do at school, they can be charged with abuse of a teacher. They can also be truant. If they are truant, then oftentimes they come to district court as well, though they can go to family court as well. We share jurisdiction with family court on those cases. We handle after-hour search warrants. We handle mental inquest warrants where a person who is a danger to themselves or others because of a mental illness. Those can happen any time of the day or night. We handle also juvenile mental illness cases in which kids are out of control and may need to be placed into treatment. We handle those cases. Again, we're on the job 24/7. If an officer wants to search a home or a business, and a crime occurs and they need to look at cell phones, then they have to come get a judge, have to sign a search warrant to be able to search those places, unless one of the exceptions to the search warrant rule applies. And so, I've had rolling search warrants where where the police get a search warrant for a house. They search that house, they find other items, the people in that house then give information about another place where this is going on, and so they'll come back 2 hours later. And I've had that happen where I have one search warrant at midnight and I'm not done until 4 a.m. Because they keep coming back, because the people keep getting more information. So it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's something that I've been on the beach signing electronically a warrant of arrest for somebody. I've had to do emergency protective order or domestic violence orders while I was at my niece's music recital at the PAC Center. So, I think people would be surprised that that people get to call judges at 4 o'clock in the morning and they have to answer. As a district judge, you have to have 3 years experience as an attorney. So you start out as an attorney. You have to pass the bar, which is a test that is required of all folks who want to practice law in Kentucky. The bar examination is a pass-fail test. You either pass it and can go on to practice law, or you don't pass it and you can't, though you have multiple opportunities to be able to do that. Once you've practiced law for at least 3 years, you can become a district court judge. In my case, I practiced at the county attorney's office as a prosecutor for 7.5 years before I became a judge. And that is typically the 3 years would not be the norm. Usually you are more experienced as an attorney before you become a judge. There are 4 levels of judgeships in Kentucky. There's the district court, which is my level. There's the circuit court, which is a court above me who handles trials that involve felonies. There's the Court of Appeals level, which is an intermediate appeals court, and then there's the Supreme Court of Kentucky. Our pay for the 117 district judges that are in Kentucky is mandated by a statute and by the Constitution, and we're paid $112,000 a year. It's up to the legislature to give us any raises should they deem it appropriate. Well, as I previously indicated, I graduated from Linvale Elementary, and I just want to say that elementary school, at least for me, was really important because I had some really great teachers who inspired me to learn how to read. Mrs. Graham, who was the librarian, was an incredible person, and she really encouraged us to be the best that we could be. And I had a lot of teachers like that at Linvale, and I think that's really important that you get that building block, because when you build a house, you want to build it on a solid foundation. You don't want to build a house on bad ground with bad material, because if you build that type of house, it's going to fall down. You know, I was lucky enough to have that foundation. And it continued on at West Hardin. My favorite class at West Hardin was probably a government class, oddly enough, since I ended up as a lawyer and a judge. But I think it was also more than that. I had the opportunity to play football and baseball and basketball at West Hardin. I think that was really important to me, to be part of a team sport in which you learn discipline, you learn to work as a team, which is, nobody can do it on their own. Even as a judge, I serve on a lot of different teams, and we try to be really collaborative in what we do. And even the clubs that I was in while I was in high school. I was started out in FFA because I grew up on a farm down around Star Mills and Stevensburg, and I learned a lot through that process. A lot I already knew because growing up on the farm, but just Mr. Hezzy Williams was a great teacher. He was inspiring, as well as Mr. Miller, who taught government. So I was really lucky to have those teachers. And being involved in school is important. Because you don't get everything that you learn in the classroom. You got to learn to deal with people. You got to learn how to work with people, have a boss, do all those things that they don't teach you. There's no adulting 101 in high school. Well, when I got to Center College, I majored in government. Lots of colleges call it political science, but at Center it was called government. I had a minor in English. The great thing about the liberal arts school is you get to do a little bit of everything and learn a lot about everything, and it kind of helps you make a decision about what you want to do. I can remember in high school the day that I knew that I didn't want to be a farmer. I was up at the top of a straw barn in August. It was 100 degrees outside, which meant at the top of the barn it was probably 120, 125 degrees, and I came out all dusty and tired and sweaty, and I was like, gosh, there's got to be a better way to make a living than this. Having said that, I wouldn't trade growing up on a farm for anything. My brother and my dad still do that. But as I got to Center, I was interested in law. I took a constitutional law class there, and decided that with a government degree, I was probably going to have to do, not a whole lot of call for immediately going into the government when you have that kind of degree. So I decided to go on to law school, and I was lucky enough to get accepted to UK Law. Again, you have to take a test called the LSAT. A lot of you have probably taken the ACT or the SAT or the ASVAB. It's just a lot like those kinds of tests. It kind of puts you in a place where you know whether or not you can go to that particular school. And I went to UK Law School and graduated from UK Law and came back home because that's what I really wanted to do. I think the most successful judges are the judges who listen. Because you have to get all the information that you can to be able to make a good decision. You can't just make knee-jerk reactions to and you have to listen to both sides. So you have to be patient. Sometimes I'm better at that than others, but I think being able to listen, to hear everybody let everyone have their say. Even if you rule against people, if people feel like that they've got a fair shake, that they got to tell the judge everything that they wanted to, they're even okay that a decision has been made. And I think that has really been important to me, because this is my community, and the people that appear in front of me are the people that I stand for election on, and I have to make decisions. Some people are going to win, some people are going to lose. That's just the nature of the beast. But it's important that they feel like that they've been heard. And if you're a judge and you can do that, I think you can be very successful. And that's not just as a judge. I think that applies to whatever job that you have. You can be, I worked at Wendy's for a while, and work in the cashier. If you got to listen to people, complain. Sometimes. People have complaints. Lots of people put their head in the sand, but if I get a telephone call that somebody's unhappy and it's something that I can talk to them about, I immediately return the call, because it's if you put things off, it's only going to get worse. And again, I think if they have complaints, they need to be heard. And that's the cool thing about my job. And I've been doing this for 20 years now. And I still enjoy going to work every day. You never know what's going to happen in district court. I get on the bench at 8:30 and I'll look up and it's 1:30 or 2 o'clock and time has flown. That suits my personality, but it also makes you feel good. Because there are folks that come in front of me that I'll see out in the community that will say, they'll approach me. Sometimes I'm a little worried when that happens, but oftentimes it's a judge. I don't know if you remember me, but I appeared in front of you 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, and you put me in jail, or you gave me some encouragement, or you gave me my children back, and the 5 minutes that I interacted with them, or the 10 minutes or the 20 minutes or however long it was, changed people's lives. And what other job can you do that when you can have that much impact on somebody? And I just think that's very cool that I can be in that position to be able to help folks, keep the community safe, and it's I highly recommend it.